here we are with God, aliens, and a cup of coffee. I'm with Larry Warren, my fellow partner in crime. Even though we were in law enforcement, who knows? He was in security police side of things. Back then, I was not allowed in security police. But I am here also with Michael Stacy Smith. He goes by Stacy. He's a staff sergeant that was at RAF Bentwaters at the same time as I was there, and also Larry. So our time definitely intersected because he got there in November 1979, right? So he agrees.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm really excited. He left the military and was at the rank of staff sergeant, which is something to be said. And Larry is first class all the way.
I'm still the lowest ranking guy again, you know.
No, he's actually my general right now. He's got stars going there. I love him, and I love Stacy too. Now here's the thing: is that we're all involved in Capel Green, and we're all anticipating, and we're excited about it. And I know there are things that we probably should not talk about, but there are things that I think we can talk about, and who knows, because I know a lot of people are really, really biting at the bit to learn more. The thing that I find interesting is that listening to many of the experiencers at RAF Bentwaters, that even though we all saw something identical, we technically saw something very, very unique as for what was out there and what transformed us, how it made us who we are, in the sense of, for example, Stacy, you had mentioned you had all these numbers. You know things that, how should you know that? And you're not alone, because I have the same thing. Mine happens to be through dreams. It takes me on a road to a very specific place in Mexico that I've never been to. So we all have had different things, and then you got Jim Penniston with the ones and zeros, and you got coordinates and all this other stuff. And I finally realized I want to back off on that by saying that it's his truth, it's your truth, it's my truth. And what you experienced is something of value. There are things that I can talk about, and who knows? Because I know a lot of people are really biting at the bit to learn more. The thing that I find interesting is that listening to many of the experiencers at RAF Bentwaters, even though we all saw something identical, technically saw something very unique as for what was out there and what transformed us, how it made us who we are, in the sense of, for example, Stacy, you had mentioned you had all these numbers, you know things that, how should you know that? And you're not alone. Because I have the same thing. Mine happens to be dreams. Takes me on a road to a very specific place in Mexico that I've never been to. So we all have different things, and then you got Jim Penniston with the ones and zeros, and you got coordinates and all this other stuff. I finally realized I back off on that. By saying that it's his truth, it's your truth, it's your truth, it's my truth. And what you experienced is something you could share with us, what you remember from back then. It doesn't have to be physical things. It could be, even talk about those numbers.
First incident happened in November. And the end of November, we went on alert. And they put me in a bunker behind the east gate on Woodbridge. I had an M60 machine gun, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And I stood up on the bunker. I had to pee, so I stood up on the edge of the bunker and was peeing. I looked down the side of the fence line about 100 yards down, and I saw a glow in the woods. And I said, what is this? And I thought it was somebody with a lantern. And, you know how the Brits, they'd walk and look at our planes. And
Yeah.
I got back down to the bunker and the light coming towards me. And when it got to me, it stopped right in front of me. It was a red, orange, glowing ball about 2 feet off the ground, moving on its own. I called the SRT team to me. They come to me. And the black staff sergeant, I wish I knew him. I think it was from day shift. We were on alert then, but anyway, I didn't know him. The black staff sergeant, white senior airman, come to me. And it was still there. They got there, they saw it. And the sergeant asked me, said, what is that? I said, I don't know, you the one with the stripes, you tell me. And I cocked and locked the M60. It was cocked and locked. All I had to do was throw the safety off and pull the trigger. And he asked me, he said, is that weapon locked and loaded? I said, yep. You want to relieve me right now? Go ahead.
Yeah.
And the airman, he said, I'm going to go down. He went down about 150 yards and jumped the fence. He said, I'm going to come in and flank it. He said, you got me covered? I said, man, you covered. And he was coming into you could hear him going through the woods. You couldn't hear this object that come through the woods, but you could hear him walking, you know. And it was dark. And if you'd have blinked your eye, you'd have never seen it leave.
Wow.
And that night, after that, it scared me. Hell, I was a kid then. I went and got up in the back of the hangar behind the bunker. I said, well, they know where I'm at. So if they come back, they're not going to hit this. They can hit this bunker, but I ain't going to be in it.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Honestly, I don't remember even getting back. When I come to, I was in the shower in the barracks.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yep. I don't remember turning my weapon in. I don't remember being taken back to the barracks. I don't remember none of it until I was in the shower. And to this day, you know, something like that should be burned in your brain. But it was like, oh, well, I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or something made you forget about it. You know.
Well, you had the same.
No, I have a lot I can tell.
Yeah. But then when did you start experiencing?
For some reason in my brain, I don't know. I don't know what it is. To this day, it still scares me.
Yeah. I was recently.
And I tell everybody, I wish I'd never saw any of it.
Yeah.
That's two of us.
Yeah.
Wish I'd never saw any of it.
Yep.
And the second incident was the Christmas when Colonel Halt and them come out.
That's when I was out there. And it was a lot more than him and Kim and all that.
Everybody asked me, did you see Larry? I said, everybody asked me, did you see Larry? Did you see Larry out there? I said, no. I said, there was a lot of people out there I didn't see.
That's right.
I said, but I know Larry. I know he was there. He was Air Force.
Yeah. I remember you back
as
then.
far as me seeing you, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't see you.
Bastines and I, we were on the SRT team that night. We were real short because all the guys, it was right at Christmas and they were all home on leave with their families and all us single guys, you know. We only had like one guy on ART teams and the Napas, we only had like one guy on them.
Yeah. I was with Adrian.
That's how short we were that night.
I was with Buzz that night also.
Yeah.
I remember at the East Gate,
Jero was there. A lot
Bastines asked me, said, Smitty, are you going out?
Yeah.
And I said, nope. And Colonel Halt was mad because we was off base with weapons. And
that's
they put them all in that truck. That's what I babysitted weapons.
Yeah.
Well, I was one of the people in the pickup that Lieutenant England was in, and Bruce, and what's his name? Mark,
Yeah.
whatever. Longero, Stevie was out there. And everyone went different things, and Holt went a whole other end of the field. And but yeah, I funny enough, Stacy, and I remember you back then. I did a C&D flight myself. For some reason, they were finding which I think that night I was on the C, and we. I don't remember.
I was Delta. We were Delta.
Yeah, I was assigned to D.
We had just relieved.
Yeah, they had me on C with.
We had just relieved that flight.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. We had just relieved them that night when Colonel Halt and all them come out there. England, whatever.
Yeah.
England. But I remember after that, 2 planes come into Woodbridge, and I was working at the CSC at Woodbridge. Everybody, even Pendleton said, "Oh no, there was no control center." I said, "Bull crap." I said, "I had to type down blotters." I said, "You can ask Lieutenant Eglin because he made me retype them because he didn't like my grammar." Yep.
Yeah, they had all. Verano he wasn't out there that night, the next day. But I don't remember. And Burroughs was out there off duty, and I'm sure you remember him. But he was off duty. I told.
Oh yeah. He come in there that night.
Right.
He come in that night. He was in a POV.
That's right.
With some guy, and I was sitting there in the truck. He said, "Yeah, you remember that?" I said, "Yeah, I know you."
Yeah.
I said, "I saw you. You went out there with all them."
He was in civvy clothes, winter
I said,
clothes.
"You come in from the."
Wow.
You come in from, yep. I said, "You come in from the front gate and drove all the way to the east gate where I was at." Yeah. Yep, sure did.
Yep.
Wow.
But then that night, when some guy they posted at the gate, every time you open the gate, you got to have it posted. And I don't know him. He was a new guy, brand new, didn't know him. And I was just sitting around my truck. I said, "Well, they ain't gonna give me no call. I'm gonna sit here and take a nap." And he went to hollering. Man, he was cussing. "What the F is that? What the F is that? What the F is that?" And I got out of the truck and said, "Man, what's wrong with you?" He said, "Man, look." And the craft come right across the end of the runway and went into Rendlesham Forest. And I even talked to Colonel Halt. I spoke to him on the phone. And his recording says, "Yeah, we see one coming in from the south. We see a craft coming in from the south. I see it right now." And it was on his recording. And I told him that. And said, "Yeah."
Yeah. I got that recording out back in '84. I got it in Japan because the Brits were selling it, and the Japs bought it. And they said, "You want to come to Japan?" I said, "Could I bring my brother?" I should have asked for 50 grand, but they gave me $500 and they wouldn't let me take my brother. But I got to see Japan, and I came out with that tape, and I turned it over to CNN. I wasn't a good business mind, Stace, but I said, hell with that. I took that tape, man, and I gave it to Chuck DeCaro from CNN back in '84. And that's how it got out to the public, because in here they want to monetize everything we went through, in England.
Yeah, actually, Colonel Halt actually called me. We spoke on the phone. He just had appendix surgery, he said.
Recently? How long
ago? He called me on the phone. Oh Lord. Since I moved back home here, since I retired and got out,
But he found
13, 14, 15, somewhere around there.
Oh.
Yeah. He contacted me. We talked on the phone.
I contacted him too back around 1997, when it was like I had my awakening when I saw Lefty's Gate on Netscape. And I contacted him because I found out he was living in Woodbridge, Virginia. And the first thing I said to him, I said, "You see the correlation, the synchronicity, you live in Woodbridge, and all this stuff that affected you happened around Woodbridge, and it was just at RAF Woodbridge." It just seemed kind of interesting. He didn't really.
Everybody asked me that.
He didn't really connect the dots like I do. But.
Everybody asked me.
What's that?
everybody asked me, said, did you read Larry's book? I said, no, I was there. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Good point. Good
Yeah.
point. Well, that's outdated.
Yep.
And this, we're all in this film. I could, it's taken a long time. I know that. I didn't sign up for years because, I'm in my 60s. We all are probably.
Mhm.
And but I know a little more than you guys might, is that what is there is Hollywood level. It's not these things you see on television, which Halt and Peniston, it's way beyond all of that. And of course, you guys are actors play you guys also in some parts, and for your events that they cover in it. And,
Yeah, that was really cool.
and I can tell you is that, and
Somebody told me something. Right there at the bunker I was in on Woodbridge, there's a vent there. And when we used to run around, us dumb kids, we tried to pull the top off of it. We didn't know what it was. And then we played war games out there in Rendlesham. We found another one of those vents.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, was that
a guy over in England, he said, oh, those are just drainage vents.
Yeah. Was that part
I
of
said,
Sparrowhawk?
no.
Was that part of Sparrow?
Ma'am?
Was that part of Sparrowhawk? That exercise we did when we were
We played
around the woods?
Yeah, we fought the British. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, fought the British. Yep.
Oh, I heard about that.
I thought the British were coming through the fence, and I started shooting at them, and then they were like, Rehfeldt, it's us. I'm like, oh, sorry.
No, we played that war game out there. We was out there for like a week.
That was fun. That was.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was
And I found a vent out there in Rendlesham, and it was the same vent structure that was right there in front of my bunker, right there on the east gate, right behind it where I was at. And we used to go try to pry it open. It had a lid on top of it. But you can look down in it. No, it's not a drainage vent. No, sorry. It looks like an air vent.
I actually saw a video recently of some guys were, and the one that's out in the woods that you're talking about, that they actually crawled into it. And they crawled pretty far, but then they got scared and they stopped. Which I'm like, yeah, do you really want to go?
I didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
I still don't know what they were. It was strange. Very strange.
I've been out there an awful lot, over the year. I live over here, but not there. I'm hundreds of miles away. But they have a lot of structures from the war, World War II, where they used to, the fuel, somehow they'd hide in the woods or under. But I don't know. I've seen some of these tunnels and things, but they seem very war era kind of thing. But there's little huts out there, and I guess they used to hang deer up or some kind of thing, There's a lot of deer out there. Woodbridge
was a World War II crash base for bombers. That's why the runway was so long.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And they expanded it even after our time to take the space shuttle. A lot of people don't, in case it came down in Europe.
It's actually a space shuttle.
I didn't know that.
Sure is. Yep, sure is. Yep.
It was the European landing thing for the shuttle if it had to come down this way. Yep. But it never did. And they expanded everything. Yep. They gave the Bentwaters a Burger King, which we didn't have. We have the bowling alley. And we always everyone brings up that bowling alley.
Good hamburgers.
They did have good, they did. Absolutely.
Yeah. And to think it was only up
Great hamburgers.
for what, 2 decades, not even, and they tore it all down?
Well, they just built it all up, and then the base shut down in '92. They deactivated.
Yeah.
I think they did it a little too quick with what's going on over this way in Ukraine and all that with the Ruskies and all that, because it's going to go hot soon again. I mean, something bad with us.
Yeah.
Definitely with the shipping lanes, that's going to be probably the cause and effect. So yeah, and we're right. Well, when I see the mushroom cloud, I'll send you a message because you'll be next. But of course, we a lot of people we know.
Okay, the Cold War is still going on. Okay.
Well, it is, and you remember our base was a a first strike option for the Russians, our base, Bentwaters Woodbridge. And the thing is that, yes, and the people nowadays, the kids or people that haven't served in our era, Cold War, is they don't realize there's a thing called mutually assured destruction. So if that idiot in Russia tries with even attack, they're smoked too. So, you know, unless he's that insane. I hope it doesn't happen before the movie comes out, but
No,
you know, I want to see it.
Yeah, I was curious as for who was living in the Folly house, you know, that little house that was out at the end, you know, off base, but it was.
We know it's
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, it was just there's something about it just seemed really kind of creepy. But on the other hand, being out on East Gate when I first got there, the gate was open 24/7, and when you were out there on your lonesome, and and so sometimes I'd look out and see the Folly house, see the lights on, and I think, oh, at least they're in the house cozy, you know, kind of made me feel connected to.
Yeah, that was an old man, Lori, named Boast, I think. And Dutch Street's done a lot, you know, they did. I was around back in them days. So it was an old man. Nowadays, it's a young family. The kids, well, with the movie, they're probably in their 40s now, but they were 10 when we were filming. But I'm kidding. But yeah, I will throw. It's, you know, we're not getting younger. But it's a young family, and boy, oh boy, they have some things happen. They've had some things happen there. It's a creepy. When I last filmed for the film We're All In, and I was able to obviously be on site, I couldn't see I was one way with me and Bastinza were together at a certain point, but the actor playing him, he looked kind of like him, and then the kid playing me. But I had to leave because my mother was passing away. And
I told him I didn't meet your mom. Don't blame me. I told the kid that reenacted me, I said, I don't know your mom. Don't blame me. He did look kind of like me.
His name is Liam Burr. I've never met him, but he's played you. He's played a tree, and he's played every kind of, you know, because listen, there was no budget in this thing. I know that. And yet it is probably.
They asked me about the M60. I said,
yeah, I didn't see that.
They said, why do your hand go on the M60? I said, to keep your teeth from getting kicked out. They said, huh?
That's
I said, yeah, you put your hand and put your teeth on the M60 when you shoot it. I said, if you don't, it'll loosen your damn teeth.
That's right.
And
I only fired them.
Pendleton told him, oh, no, he didn't have no M60. I said, yeah, he did. He said, only E4 and above could carry M60. I said, bull crap.
I trained.
We call it, pardon my French, we call it the black ditch.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, there you go.
I haven't heard that in years, man. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I trained on him at Camp Rolis, like we all did, blowing apart those 50 gun drums.
Yeah.
What a load of. What's their angle when Jim says these nonsensical things? It doesn't make sense to me at all.
I guess it's being detailed oriented.
Tim Eggerson blew him up.
No. I mean, the same thing with
Tim Eggerson blew him up.
These people that act like they have the sense of authority in their voice. So they think that people obviously going to listen to them. Like, well, yes, when I was at MOD doing blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you, this is what Bentwaters, this is what East Gate looked like back then. And, you know, I saw a couple of videos. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
No, that's the new gate, or that's, you know, it's just like,
it's all changed now.
Talking to the experiences, you know, I mean, why don't they, you know, if you want clarification.
Well, because they've been roped into the untrue narrative, and that's what they've been selling to the public since 1992 when Unsolved Mysteries first did it. I was supposed to be on it, and then Holt kicked me off. And Holt has autonomy with all these things. Well, he doesn't with Capel Green, and they were all invited on. I mean, I didn't want them, but Sense of Democracy, they were all asked, would you? And we had a crew in America that filmed everyone. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I wasn't down with that idea because I don't owe them nothing, and I don't think any of us do. But they chose not to, and but also there was another criteria in it. Would they be willing to be polygraphed, and they refused, and they still do. And by the top expert in this country and her counterpart in America, they won't do it. I've passed, and I did 5 VSAs. I knew your ex-law enforcement, civilian police, Stacy, and but they will. Yep. You don't need to do it.
Yep.
But they do, because they've been inconsistent.
They can polygraph me all they want.
Well, they don't. You're good. You don't have to.
I don't care. They can polygraph me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but see, that's not their attitude. We shouldn't. Yes, you need to. Why should anyone? And listen, it's just a measure, and you're real police outside. You know better than I would. But I put myself up to do it to get the damn movie going. Because if I failed it, like, who's going to make a movie with a character in it that isn't, legit? And I'm legit. I know I am. I don't know everything. I've learned a lot with the film, and I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of it they don't tell me because they think I have a big mouth. Obviously, I got the incident out, the RFI out in '82, so that I can't argue.
I'm glad you done that, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
When I first got back stateside,
thank you.
It was just so
one
healing
friend
that you did that. Truly.
Thank you.
I told him about that UFO incident, and it come out on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called me.
There have been things on it
man,
before
everything
that.
you said was just TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that to me, it says so much more. We
all need a voice. I have had mine for many years, but my whole thing was to get folks like you guys to be able to come out. I took all the fireworks, even from within, and believe me, it wasn't a plan at all. There's never been money in it, but there was. It had to be done, and everything that's happened to me has happened to Travis Wall. I'm talking about, but the worst thing is, it's not your government that needs.
He contacted me also.
Travis.
I have his text message.
Oh, yeah, he's a nice guy. He's been through all kind of hell. He can tell, but I'm out looking out for you guys. He's a good man. He's been through the same
ringer.
Different, it's always different perceptions. But that's what it's about to me, is that now there's people say I was never even in the Air Force. It's stunning. And all my documents are I stole
crap.
Well, thank you.
I saw you there. I remember when you was at Bravo Napa one night. You was a brand new troop. And we pulled up, and you was asking me questions, and we were trying to tell you.
That's right. I remember.
And I was on post 11, right across from the base exchange when you came up to me, and we talked for a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, you were on the main gate of Bentwaters my first day.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
You were there. I know you were there. Everybody says, well, was Larry there? I said, yeah, he was. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. They don't like that.
He was in the Air Force. I remember the Bravo Napa when you was on there on the ECP point. And we pulled up there and you was asking us questions. And we was trying to tell you,
that's me, because I talk a lot. My mother wanted me to go into the Navy, Stacy, and I'm seasick on a duck pond, but I wish I had,
Well, what's funny is that I went to, I actually registered for the School of Visual Arts in June of 1977. And I got there and they didn't have dormitories or anything like that. And my mom said, which is so like me, well, let's make a day out of being in New York City. Let's go to the Statue of Liberty. So I got on the ferry and, just the smell of the gas and everything, I started feeling nauseous. And because I was thinking, I remember this girl in high school having all these brochures about the Air Force and they looked like flight attendants. I guess I could do something like that. There's no way I was going in the Army or Marines because, I was anti-Vietnam.
No, you have to be a little bit smart to get in the Air Force.
Right.
You have to pass.
We did a big disservice to our soldiers there, and it was just done improperly. But but I was anti-Vietnam. I was like, we shouldn't be there, blah blah blah. But that was just me back then. And so the only thing that looked safe was
my best friend was a Green Beret in Vietnam.
What's that? No, I totally
my best friend was a Green Beret in Vietnam.
Respect anyone that set foot on that land, and what they were doing was important because they were following orders. They were doing what they were told to do. And,
Yep.
you know, it was just that,
Yep. He hated it.
yeah, the numbers, and anyway, and I'm not
He
getting into
hated it.
politics, but my
He got
point
shot.
is that I never saw myself as a military kind of person. And then when they offered me law enforcement, first they offered me supply. And I'm like, I don't want to work in the stock room. I was like, what that? And then they said, well, we'll find something in about 5 days. And if you don't like it, you could say goodbye to the Air Force. This is what my recruiter said. And fine, I don't care. So he called me back and he said, well, take a guess. I'm like, this is my life. Can you tell me what you came up with? Oh, come on, take a guess. No. I was like, really, no. He said, well, what do you think of law enforcement? And I thought, ooh, you know, Charlie's Angels, you know, Starsky and Hutch. You know, I thought, oh, this would be cool. I'll be jumping over cars. I'll have my gun out. You know, I don't know what, you know, Hollywood.
Charlie's Angels.
My head. Yeah. And I was not near any bases.
Well, I was a real
I
cop.
grew up on Long Island. So my frame of reference for the military was the television show MASH. And I always thought they had a great sense of humor. So, you know, but that was, yeah. So anyway, that was, I didn't join the Navy.
I joined because my dad,
you know,
my dad actually flew B-36 bombers.
Yeah.
In the Air Force. And my uncle was a chief master sergeant that retired. And I went in, there wasn't no jobs in 79. That's when Jimmy Carter was president.
Right.
And, you know, to get in the Air Force, you have to take that test and you got to pass high to get in the Air Force.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of smart people in security police for sure. A lot of the airmen that saw a lot of the bullshit that was going on, you know, getting aggravated and fed up with it. It was just, I always felt like I lost a friend whenever somebody decided they wanted to leave.
That's all I want, the truth. Tell the truth.
What's that?
That's what I told Dion when they contacted me. I said, I just want the truth to come out. I don't want money.
Yeah.
There's no money in this.
What I know. What happened?
The only people that make money are the Nick Popes and people like him, and even co-authors, some of them that are disingenuous, that have no qualms in lifting whatever. And, you know, I put more into this than I'll ever see. Don't care about that. But yeah, it's the truth. It's just the truth.
Nope.
As we know it. I think you're going to be very shocked, guys. And I don't know everything with the result of this film. I know it's going to flatten ufology, whatever they call that bunch, but it's made for the world. It's not made for that type. And they'll either enjoy it or they won't. They'll probably pretend it didn't out because it's not going to make them look very good in the investigation end. It's not good, and not intentionally. There's no disparaging of people, but I'll tell you guys, gonna be very proud of this thing, and may we, hopefully, very soon. There's a couple things that I'm aware of, separate from that you're going to be very pleased with soon. You're going to be very. It's about time.
Good.
Yeah. Well,
I won't.
It's time, man.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
That's what I told Dion. It's time for it to come out.
Yes. Yeah, and
it's time for it to be told. It happened.
Yeah.
And nobody can take it from us.
Yeah, no, and they'd like to.
And it really changes the dimension of the whole
and it's
story.
way more than what you might think. It's bigger. There's things I didn't even know, which of course that would be the case. But you know, I'm closer to all that because I'm over here in them. And you'll be very, your day is coming. And let me tell you, your day is coming in a couple different directions.
Well,
neither have anything.
Dion told me that since Lori and I spoke and they interviewed us, they said a lot of guys and gals have come out.
Yes.
Have kept their mouth shut.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I think it's going to be
because of me and Lori.
Really? Or was it the other Lori?
Me and Lori.
Yeah, I just was so,
I remember you,
No,
girl. I got a photograph of you. Sure do. I got a picture of you in my files. Yep, well, you were standing on the gate at Bentwaters.
wow,
Yep,
I must have looked younger than I am now.
yep, still do.
That's how I met
Oh,
you.
yeah, you were. We all were. We all
We were
were.
pretty back
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Yep,
I'll tell you though, when I left Bentwaters, I felt like
pretty.
I escaped there. You know, I really did. I was so angry and so,
Go right back.
you know, okay. And I just felt so, I wanted to like put it all behind me and just go forward, you know, I'm going to a new base. So, you know, whatever happened over in England, it's back then, and maybe I'll have fond memories of my time there. And see, I stayed in to include my reserve time for 27 years.
Mhm.
And Bentwaters was the worst assignment I ever had. And I'm not talking about the people that I became friends with. I'm talking about, you know, it was just everything was so off kilter. And so, I mean, every base I went to, I'm like, no, Bentwaters is still a really shitty base, you know, I'm like, and it was just, you know, because I felt like it was physically changing me in so many ways. And it was just, I mean, my mom came to visit me when I was there.
I was,
And she walked right by me. She didn't even recognize me. And I'm like, Mom, it's me.
Huh.
And the first thing, and I'll tell you this, the first thing that happened is that when my mom came to visit me, it was closer to the end of my time there, about May of 1980. And she came to visit, and I went to pick her up at Heathrow, and she walked right by me, and I kind of had to say, hi, Mom, you know, and she was like, oh, Lori. And then we got on the base, and now I'm trying to at least show off, you know, I'm trying to show off, saying, oh, well, this is this, and this is that, you know, it's kind of like, see that pipe in the road, isn't that wonderful?
Right.
Yeah. And my mom was just really quiet. I mean, I would point out, and then we had to stop the car to let an A10 drive by. And, you know, I thought maybe she'd think that was kind of cool, like how things are working here, you know. And she kept quiet. And then she started saying, she finally said, Lori, I can get you an airline ticket. I got to get you out of here. There's something wrong here. This place is something really, really, really wrong here. And it's dangerous. And I got to get you out of here. And when she said that, I was thinking, she feels it too. You know, I mean, you know, and it was kind of like, yeah. So she wanted to get off the base as quickly as possible. Then I took her back to my flat in Wickham Market, and it was pretty cold there. We finally went to visit a friend of mine who lived in this really sweet little apartment over in, it was called Corner Cottage. And my mom wanted to stay there. She was like, I don't want to go back to your place because there's something's wrong at your place too. And I'm like, okay, you know. But she made me curtains and made me nice, and you know, it was just really interesting. But it blew me away that my mom, and even before she passed away, and she couldn't talk, if I mentioned Bentwaters, my mom would go like this. Oh. You know,
my family did.
And you knew she's like that. There's something wrong there. That place is evil, and she felt like it was whatever it was attacking us or attacking me, and you know.
I think my family shake their heads when the name comes up.
What's that?
Oh God, not again. Yeah, the lighthouse became a family friend. I mean.
Yeah.
Oh man, there was just nothing going down.
Yeah, they talk about that.
Yeah.
They talk about that on the UFO stuff. And I said, look, we played 4 games in those woods. I said, I had a map and was looking for the lighthouse to try to get my bearings. I said, no, the lighthouse don't shine in the forest. Sorry.
No, it doesn't. That's exactly right.
No, you can't. I tried to find it when we was out there laying in the woods.
You can't find it even if you try. Now it's
Sure
now it's
gone. Yeah.
They tore it down. They could have sold bricks of that. you know, the UFO. It was all like,
Ken Green
and
was
that's
with me.
just who?
What's that?
Ken Green,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
he was
yeah,
with
yeah.
me when we was out there playing them games. They sent us on alert, 4
Mhm.
guys. And why they picked me, I don't know. They always pick me to do that crap. But I guess so. I went through
You're talking about when you went to
ABGD
like,
or what.
yeah. Yeah,
I
because
did
you guys had the opportunity
Yeah,
to
we was playing war
you
games.
watched, right?
Yeah. I missed the
Yeah.
war games, but I remember you would coordinate in front of the theater when we'd show up with alert bags and get on the blue bus to go out to the
Yeah.
CSC. And weren't you the coordinator of
Yeah.
this for flight on who has what with them when and this and that for the new ones? Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
very well.
Yep.
Wow.
Not fly very long.
Why
but
they put
yeah,
me in charge of
I
all that
remember
crap, I don't know.
Yeah.
well, you
And
got the
every
short
time
straw.
we even Lieutenant Eglin, they picked me one night when we played war games. They made me attack the base. We had stickers to put on planes, you know, destroyed. Lieutenant Eglin done that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went
Yeah,
I
next.
remember one of the
they
guys
had,
was walking around
yeah.
wanted to nap,
Yeah. They had this thing where
and I grabbed his leg when he come by me, and he scared him to death. I said,
Yeah.
"You're dead."
they had this thing where if you thought the enemy was near you, you had to say a number or something, or if you thought, you know, to figure out who was friend or foe when you're out there. And this guy and I,
No, authentication. What they
Yeah.
ask you, mostly your last name, and they'll ask you authenticate by 3,
yeah,
and you say Smith, SMI, India.
yeah. Well, they told me and this guy to leave the woods, leave the forest, and head up to the NMSA, where we were all climbing on those mountains. And we're walking in the woods, and all of a sudden I
Oh God,
stop.
not them a lot.
Yeah, I stop, and I turn around, and I do this authentication. And then this guy, who's maybe about 3-4 feet away, he does the authentication back to me. And he, the guy who was with me said, "How did you know that? How did you know that?" And I said, "I felt it. I just felt him there. You know, I don't know. It was just, you know, just hit me." But, you know, it was always like that, you know, there. Then we got to the bunker, and that's when it was like the end. It was like the crescendo, you know. It's like, okay, use up all your bullets. And I should not have gone chasing after Lieutenant England when he was in that Jeep with the machine gun on the back, because then he started shooting that, and the sounds were echoing on both sides of the cement walls. And all of a sudden my ears were going, and I'm like, never mind. My bad.
I missed the war games.
Yep.
I think they happened just before my group got there. You know, I had heard about it, and they had tanks. Didn't they have tanks in the forest and all that? I don't know. Who's
I don't think so. The only thing,
I saw
No
pictures
tank.
of them.
No, I don't remember a tank.
yeah.
No,
I don't remember
Yeah.
a tank, but I remember
I think I
they
saw
did
it,
have Jeeps out there with guns on them.
you know what?
I
think
remember me
saw
and
that.
Ken, we were on alert. We had to find their base camp, and we hadn't had nothing to eat in a while. And we crawled up right in the middle of their damn camp. I called in an airstrike, and I smelled them. They were cooking food. I told Ken, I said, "I'm tired of this, man." I said, "This ain't for real. I'm hungry. I smell food cooking," and I stood up. Boy, the British went crazy. He was looking at my M16. I said, "You can have that damn piece of shit." I said, "Here, give me something to eat." Yep, sure did.
Well,
He
they
said,
they gave us
that. Yeah.
those old World War II T-Rats, and you had to open up, and you saw the date. It said 1944 on it, and you're opening it up, and it's
still got my P-38. Yep.
Yeah.
I still got my original P-38 from the first one when I was in SP school.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow. I think I have mine too. Isn't that funny?
Ken was there with me. I talked to him, and when we crawled up in the British camp, and I stood up. I said, "I'm quitting, man. Hell with this. I'm hungry."
I remember they kept saying,
the Brits went crazy. First captain come up there. How did you get in here? How did y'all do this? How did y'all? I told him. I said, we crawled right by your damn post.
The British are coming.
And
No,
they want to look at the M16.
Well, you know,
I said, you can have that damn piece of crap.
They had an excuse going around in the press over here, guys, that said the SAS fooled us during those nights in question. And I go, listen, they would have been smoked in seconds. They tried to undermine our training.
Yeah.
The British try to make it like we're just wayward. Where are we? Numbskulls. They don't realize we're trained to repel Alpha Team Spitznats. You know, in lethal force. They, you know, it just wouldn't have happened. But they'll come up with anything. A police car confused us because we're dumb Yankees. You remember that kind of angst and all that.
yeah.
But I would say, and I often never call my Southern brothers Yankees because you might be missing some teeth.
Yeah, that's the way I was born and raised. Yep, actually, yep, true.
You don't
true.
call you a Yankee. No.
Even though and all the guys that live up there in New York now, they still live up there. No.
Yeah.
I stayed in fights when I was there.
Yeah, I think they're trying to move out of that state now, but that's another thing. That's Mr. Well, I won't.
Well, I'll tell you.
I actually had to pay $600 to get a guy's teeth fixed.
Yes, Stacy, you were talking about, you know,
NCO club one night.
You were talking about the smell of food, you know, and you had to get something. You were hungry. My first job as a platoon leader in the Army Reserves was to be in charge of a bakery platoon. And I would go up to this commander and say, let me get this right. I got to make bread. I got to get my troops to make bread out in a war zone. And I said, do I make extra for the enemy? If they come, they smell it, smells good. They want to. It's kind of crazy because it might have been the last of a few bakery platoons, but we kill people and bake bread is what our motto was. Damn good bread.
We bake people.
When I come back stateside, they sent me to Ellsworth Air Force Base. And I spent 2 years there in South Dakota. Then,
Ellsworth
after
is
Bentwaters, and then I spent 2 more years in the reserve.
Yeah.
6 years total.
So Ellsworth, where was that?
And no, went to Ellsworth.
Oh, was it in Montana?
South Dakota. Rapid City, South Dakota.
Yeah.
No, South Dakota.
There was a
Rapid City, South
sergeant.
Dakota.
It was a sergeant at Bentwaters that got orders back to Minot. And he said, I quit, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
and they're like, what? He said he had done it like 3 or 4 times. It's like Minot, Bentwaters, Minot, Bentwaters. And he's like, I'm fed up with this. All these people are going to some great places, and what am I doing? I'm going back to Minot. It's like, oh God. Which
coldest damn place ever been in my life.
I bet.
Oh,
I'm a Southern boy. I ain't used to that cold. My first winter up there, I got there, it got down to 70 below wind chill.
Oh my God.
Wow. Keep that.
When I first got there, they issued you all this parkas and gloves that come up to your elbows, mittens. I said,
well,
what do we need this for? And I found out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I
worked in the missile field.
Yeah, I got one question for you.
We had missiles and it was a bomber wing and a missile wing. We had over 10,000 troops there.
Damn.
Wow.
Stacy.
They closed the missile field down. It's closed now.
That's good.
Yep.
Stacy, I have a question for you. You mentioned something about sharing numbers with, I think, your brother or somebody who's an engineer. Is that something you can talk about?
My brother's an engineer. I gave him some numbers a couple of years ago, and he watered them up and threw them in the trash. They give one of the guys over there that's working with Dion. I ain't gonna say his name. I give him some numbers.
Okay.
And he had a professor look at them, and he said, "Do you know what this is?" I said, "No." He said, "These are GPS coordinates." I said, "From what?" He said, "From Rendlesham Forest to Mount St. Michael's.
Oh, okay, okay. I think I remember hearing
Yep.
about that.
And
And I bet there's what,
Yep.
high UFO activity
said these-
there? Now,
ma'am,
Larry, are you near Bristol by any chance? Is that close by you?
Who, me or Stacy?
You?
it's not, no,
Oh, no,
Just-
I'm in
real
Liverpool.
close.
Yeah,
up
yeah.
north- Way up north in the northwest of England, above Wales and, below
Wow.
Scotland. But we're on the Irish Sea, so Belfast would be right across the Irish Sea from
Wow.
us. Yeah, so in fact, the Sea Link, the Beatles are from here. I live in Ringo.
Yeah.
I live kind of close to where Ringo grew up and was born, and Jerry Marsden and all them. They're from this neighborhood, but I don't want to give too much information away because there's lunatics over here. But Bristol's on the south coast, and believe it or not, you guys know how it is here in the summer. Well, we had 105 degrees Fahrenheit.
I heard, yeah.
Last week, and there's still no air conditioning over here, guys. Did you remember back in our day?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to, and they've gotten a little more hotter.
Yeah.
Oh, it was bad last week. 2 days, I thought I was dead. I'm not used to heat it, but England doesn't get 105 degrees, and we did. And I'm in a city, so it was really.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It was-
Yeah. Yeah. You would think.
Mount St. Michael's on the southwest coast of England. Mount St. Michael's.
Right.
I didn't know where it was, but I told the guy.
I've never heard of it. Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
And I told him about the buildings and everything.
Really?
And actually, they don't even know who built those buildings. They're so old. They think
Oh,
the
right,
Romans did. I said, I don't think the Romans
a
went that
lot-
far.
Oh yeah, the Romans occupied all of that all the way up here to Hadrian's Wall, and Liverpool had a lot of Spanish came in here. A lot of that it was invaded by Vikings, but the Romans. Many of the roads you drive on up in the north were Roman roads originally, and in fact, they're not much better still. But no, they still are here. And see, I'm glad I didn't get any
Told him the buildings.
like some of you.
You glad what now, Larry?
I told him the building, what it looked like, and I told him, I said, go take a GPS compass, take a compass with you. Dion, I told, he went there, and I said, you can take a compass, but it's not going to work. How do you know this? I said, I do not know.
You
But
don't
if you
know.
go to the back corner of the building on the eve and take a compass reading northwest, and I said, but your compass isn't going to work. He
Wow.
contacted me back, said, you were right.
That's
Wow.
madness. Huh? Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
And
Well, I know, like,
Penixton,
like
supposedly
when I-
computer stuff shows an island, and I told him the compass headed right toward where Penixton's thing is.
Brazil.
And the guy that I told give the numbers to said, I'm gonna eat my damn hat, man.
It's interesting.
He said, is this for real? I said, yeah, it's for real, man.
I was trying to come up with something.
They made us
I
go
thought you were
walk around
talking
in
about
physical
Social
planes.
Security.
You
On
guys
the
are
alert
stepping
pad, they
on
made us
each
go
other.
walk around
Yeah.
invisible planes. Had a NATO attack valve. And he told us if we did that and we passed everything and done good, we would not have to be involved in the NATO attack valve anymore. Well, the next day he come out, wanted us to do it again. We were standing there in formation, all of us. Hell no, we ain't going. Hell no, we ain't going. And even Sergeant Ball was there. He said, "You told
Bob,
these
yeah.
boys."
Robert Ball.
Well, they're gonna do it again. And we all said, "Yeah, yep." And he said, "Hell no, they're gonna do it again." Well, anyway, he come up there to CSC one day in his little POV. Somehow, 2 dead rabbits got thrown in his car.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Oh, those poor rabbits.
Yep, sure did.
Airfield maintenance used to shoot them. Didn't they?
Well, there's rabbits everywhere on Bentwaters and Woodbridge. There's rabbits everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
And two
I saw
dead
Carl.
rabbits got skinned and thrown in the seat of his car.
He was hard work for Carl Drury and Major Drury and Ziegler, and I got along kind of with them, but Ziegler was a CIA guy. I didn't know that. He was attached. He had a secondary with CIA for real. And Burroughs found that.
He was all right. I don't know why we had two majors.
He was all right with me too.
Drury was a dickhead. Sorry, he was a dickhead. Drury was.
I saw him go insane over a pair of boots in supply, man, and started screaming about a pair of boots. He scared the life. I didn't think he would. But apparently.
Oh, God, you should have seen when he found the rabbits at his car when he was up at CSC. Oh, man, that place went crazy.
Right. And he's the one, Lieutenant.
I have no idea who done that. Do it again. We were standing there in formation, all of us. Hell no, we ain't going. Hell no, we ain't going. And even Sergeant Ball was there. He said, "You told these boys."
Robert Ball.
Well, they're gonna do it again. And we all said, "Yeah, yep." And he said, "Hell no, they're gonna do it again." Well, anyway, he come up there to CSC one day in his little POV. Somehow, two dead rabbits got thrown in his car.
Oh God.
Yep.
Oh, those poor rabbits.
Yep, sure did.
Airfield maintenance used to shoot them.
Well, there's rabbits everywhere on Bentwaters and Woodbridge. There's rabbits everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw.
And two dead rabbits got skinned and thrown in the seat of his car.
He was hard work for Carl Drury and Major Drury and Ziegler, and I got along kind of with them, but Ziegler was a CIA guy. I didn't know that. He was attached. He had a secondary with CIA for real. And Burroughs found that.
He was all right. I don't know why we had two majors.
He was all right with me too.
Drury was a dickhead. Sorry, he was a dickhead. Drury was.
I saw him go insane over a pair of boots in supply, man, and started screaming about a pair of boots. He scared the life. I didn't think he would. But apparently.
Oh, God, you should have seen when he found the rabbits at his car when he was up at CSC. Oh, man, that place went crazy.
Right. And he's the one, Lieutenant.
I have no idea who done that.
Hard work for Carl Drury and Major Drury and Ziegler, and I got along kind of with them, but Ziegler was a CIA guy. I didn't know that. He was attached. He had a secondary with CIA for real. And Burroughs found that.
He was all right. I don't know why we had two majors.
He was all right with me too.
Drury was a dickhead. Sorry, he was a dickhead. Drury was.
I saw him go insane over a pair of boots in supply, man, and started screaming about a pair of boots. He scared the life. I didn't think he would. But apparently.
Oh, God, you should have seen when he found the rabbits at his car when he was up at CSC. Oh, man, that place went crazy.
Right. And he's the one, Lieutenant.
I have no idea who done that.
Yeah.
Larry,
that's what was that you just said?
Well, I was in the operations with, when I called my mother, obviously, they removed me from the flag. I left fully as a security police. They said, come back in under law enforcement. I was screwed by them. Honorable, everything. Well, so they had me between supply. Remember Fred Smith and George Laws? And they ran the and Mark Reese. So I was kind of and George was from North Carolina or somewhere. And Fred took all my records and never sent them. But music records. She refused.
Yeah. They asked me about that. Was I there that night? She wrecked the Jeep.
Yeah.
I was.
We can't say nothing. I didn't know.
They asked me about it.
I always thought all this happened because I got the Halt memo out. My information did through a cause, and it came out in June of '83. And I still, even at that point, thought everything must have happened on one night. I did not know about the first night with Ed Cabana sack, which I didn't know that. And I did not, and it might be even more than that now. They're saying
Steve Wagner.
Steve Wagner, yeah, of course. Yeah, he's great.
There was a lot of
people were involved.
It was a lot of
believe me, guys, your day of reckoning's coming. I'm on it all the time to the point where I'm annoying to them. Enough of me. I mean, it's coming where we can speak openly and as we should be able to, and just hold fire and let's just make fun of people we served under some of the offices.
Oh, yeah, that'll be the fun part.
No, it's your show, Lily. What else?
But you know, one of the reasons I became an officer too is because of the way I was treated, mistreated at Bentwaters. I said, I'm better than this, I'm better than this. And so I had to, get my degree and I did it while I was on active duty. So, it took me 4 years.
I got mine finally.
Huh?
I have mine.
Yeah.
You took the exam to be an attorney. Yep.
There you go.
Took me years, but oh well.
Yeah, so I went to the DC National Guard. It was like putting a rope around my waist and dragging me around the base. But got my gold bar, and that was cool. Yeah,
that's a big deal. Yeah.
The police department.
Yeah, and it adds for credibility, because that was one thing I felt like I didn't have when I was at Bentwaters. Who's going to listen?
Well, look at me, Lori. I mean, I left Airman First Class. I was a 6-year wonder. That didn't work out. Not my fault. And so they always are going to go with the higher. What is an airman? I just know what I went through and what I can remember. But the rank really makes, even if it's not in the good light, like certain people with agendas, officers, but it does have more weight. It's just the way people's heads work. Of course it does. Sure.
Oh yeah. Well, like they always say, it was a different.
I made staff in under 4. I took the test and passed it, and didn't realize I passed it.
Yeah.
But
that's
my line number was late. I got out and went reserves before I got promoted to staff, but went to reserve unit, and they wasn't going to give me my staff sergeant strap. I said, oh, hell no, you are.
Yeah.
I said, we got enough staff.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I really appreciate having this conversation. I think we've covered a lot of material, and it was just, once again, a wonderful conversation. I think it'll benefit a lot of folks out there to get some interest in, we got to see this film Capel Green, and it just adds to the excitement.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Everybody is ready for it. Everybody around me that lives around me and knows me says, man, when's it coming out?
Yeah. And
Stacy, it's great to talk to you and see you after all these years. We do have messages, but it really is. You haven't aged. You've aged pretty well, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel it, man. I feel like I'm 80. I got a real bad heart condition.
Oh, I know. Blessings, but day of reckoning's coming. You'll be on Tiger Beat magazine soon. Win a dream date with Stacy. Just like that movie Stripes. Remember that?
Larry, we'll be eating double dogs, right? And
double dogs. Nathan's. Oh, wonderful.
I just want to tell the truth. That's all I want to do.
I'd like to go ahead and thank my guest, Staff Sergeant Michael Stacy Smith, also known as Stacy Smith, and my cohort, Larry Warren, who
was an airman first class.
He was first class all the way.
Yes.
And
I bet they say I just sewed those.
Don't matter. You were there, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
And I'm a major pain in the ass sometimes. Lori
Wonderful.
No, you will always be my Lori.
Aw.
I got a picture of you standing at Bentwaters Gate.
Oh,
sure do.
I think the spirit of me, my younger self, is still out there.
Yeah.
Wondering why my feet are still cold. It's so cold.
Yep.
All right.
Everybody asked me.
Well, thank you
That's
again.
Lori right there. That's Lori.
Yeah.
Blessings,
thank you again
guys.
for joining us. And we shall have another discussion at a future date. And this is got aliens and a cup of coffee